Hello folks, so I got the door linings all finished yesterday, so my mind now is turning to skirting. What I thought, after all this time, some finishing's going on, which is great. So I'm gonna start in the spare bedroom, and actually I did make a quick start last night. It was getting quite late and dark, but so I did just get this first piece cut and glued up. It's not fixed in place yet. I've cut the mitre and I glued the mitre. I mean, I spent years doing this, fitting one and then fitting the other one to it, but I don't do that anymore. Just glue the mitres together, and that means even if there's a discrepancy on the corner, your mitre works, no problem. So that's what I do. Now, all this MDF has come, all the skirting is in MDF skirting, it's all come from a place called the MDF Warehouse. And I've bought the skirting from loads of places over the years, generally the normal kind of builders merchants. And I have to say, this stuff is just got a different feel about it. It's really nicely finished. It's pre-primed, which most MDF skirtings are, but I think this must have 2 coats on, I think. And it's really nicely finished, just ready for painting, really good. I'll put a link in the description and on screen for this company. Really nice stuff it is. So I'm going to work my way around from the door, anti-clockwise around the room. I'll show you how I go about it, and see what we can get done today. Normally, I'd put all the architraves on first and then skirt up to the architraves, but I haven't decided quite what architrave we're going to use yet, and I've already got the skirting. So I know how wide the architrave is going to be. It's going to be 70mm, and I know that it's going to sit 10mm from the edge of the door lining. So I'm just going to mark 80mm from the inside edge of the door linings, skirt to that, and then when I get my architraves, I can just put my architraves to the skirting. It's the opposite way around to what I'd usually do it, but that's okay. No worries. So first thing I'm going to do is get this one that I glued up last night fixed. I'm using expanding foam adhesive and pins. That's all we need to fix that. I've already marked where my studs are. So another nice thing about this skirting is it's got a little groove in the back. So if you need to, I don't in this case, but if you need to, you can always hide cables in it. Handy for speakers, I would imagine. Okay folks, so that's an external corner that we've done there, and now we're going to do an internal corner. Now, obviously you mitre the external corners, but you don't mitre internal corners. You could probably get away with it with MDF, but in the days when you had more timber skirting, if you cut a mitre in the corner, if the wood shrunk at all, the gap would open up in the middle, and you'd get a break in the skirting in the corner. So what you do is you house one skirting over the top of the other one. So you have to cut out the shape of the skirting in the end of the skirting that's going to go on top. So the easiest way to do that, so you can imagine you've got to cut that profile, which is that shape there, on the end. So what you do is you cut a mitre like that, the wrong way, effectively, on the end of the skirting you're going to use, and then you cut out along that line. In other words, you get rid of all the brown on there, and that will be the perfect shape then to fit over that skirting. So that's what we're going to do. I'll cut the shape first, and then I'll measure what I need, and then we can cut it to length, and it should just sit in there nice. So that's the next job. So I've got the bit of skirting set up on the saw. There we go. So now we've got the shape that we need to cut out. So I'll go and get my jigsaw and do that. Okay, I'm going to cut this out with the jigsaw. Sometimes it's easier to do the straight, and sometimes even the curve on like a table saw, but I've not got mine set up at the moment. So I'm going to do it with the jigsaw. Jigsaw blades tend to cut on the way back towards the saw, so you want to be cutting from underneath in this instance, so you don't break out the front edge. I'm struggling because I'm trying to film this at the same time. I need to bring it this way because my arm is hitting the other saw. There we go. So let's have a look, see if this has worked. That's the shape that's cut out. Get rid of that rubbish on the floor. That's the profile. Sits in there pretty good. So we'll go and take it through, see how it sits. Let's see how this looks. I'll push it up from the other end. That's a pretty neat joint, I'd say. Before I fix it, I'll probably just push a little bit of caulk into there on the end before I push the joint together, rather than try and get it in afterwards. So I'm just gonna double check where all the studs are in that little wall, mark that on the floor, and then that's ready to fix. And then we do it all again along here. Only difference on this wall is these boards are 3 meters, and that's longer than that. It's more like 4, so we're gonna have a join in there. So we'll see how to do that as well. So we'll have pretty much done it. External corner, internal corner, internal corner, a join, potentially another join along there somewhere, and then another internal corner up to the architrave. If we can get them all neat like that one, I'll be delighted. One slight problem with doing it this way is these jigsaws nowadays have a really handy light in them, so it shows you what you're doing. But when you're working upside down, the light's shining straight in your eye. Not so handy. Anyway, this one is going in the left hand, in the back wall. So joining in at this end to the one that I just put in, but on the other end I'm going to have a join in it. So what I need to do is cut a mitre on that end which will face back, so that when I cut the next one I'll cut a mitre on that and it will sit on top, and then we'll pin through, and that'll hold everything to the wall. So I've got to cut a mitre on the other end. Right, so now we've got that pushed into there, I can now measure how far it is from that corner into this mitre, and that's 1220. So I cut a piece square on the far end, mitred inwards on this end, 1220. Okay, so that's that cut. I've now got my mitre on that end, which will cover the mitre on that joint. Slightly trickier operation now because I want to glue that joint with super glue. So I need to get the glue on this big board, get it into place, pin it, then get the glue on this one, plus glue on the joint, shimmy it into the right place, get the glue to stick, then pin it. And hope everything stays where it's meant to be. So we'll see how that goes. I'll move the camera so that hopefully you can see how that joint works out down there. This is the super glue with an accelerator. So I'm going to put the expanding foam on the back of the board as usual. And the super glue on the joint, on the mitre. Now we try and get everything lined up and spot on. Pretty good. Pin through there and then carry on pinning as usual. There we go. Pretty good. Pretty good joint. I'll get filled and sanded. Well over halfway now then. This can have a joint in it as well, this one. It's longer than 3 metres. When you can join it like that, it's really not a bother. So again, I've got to shape that end wherever it comes here, cut a mitre, cut the mitre on the next one, go into the corner. Exactly the same as I've done there. Okay, this I'm going to go and check, but I think this has to be 1053. Going to check that quickly. 1053 from the cutout to the end. Oh, well, there you go, folks. That's a complete room done. The first one in the barn, which is great. Hopefully that's been of use on how to do external corners, internal corners, and joins. Joins have turned out really nice. Once there's a little bit of filler and sand gone on in there. So check out mdfwarehouse.com if you want anything like this. They do various skirtings and lots of other MDF products. They offer a next day delivery, and it's really nice stuff, really good quality and ready to paint, nicely primed, ready to paint. Give them a look for skirting and other stuff. So thanks for watching, hope you found that useful, and I'll catch you in the next video soon.